Hello, everyone. Ben Bryce here to give you your midday mayhem. Today, I'm joined by the fabulous, unfortunately, a Green Bay Packer fan, Greg Bride. So, Greg, what's going on today?
Nothing. There's nothing happening whatsoever.
Slow day.
The markets are not crashing in the cattle. Bird flu thing is goofy. It's a little bit too much, but it's a panic sell right now.
Yeah.
So fat cattle, feeder cattle coming off that bearish USDA report. Sold off yesterday. Had a decent little comeback off the lows, but really didn't do a whole heck of a lot. And then we get the news that there's bird flu found in dairy cattle in Kansas and Texas. Very small population. The milk system is fine. They're not that milk is not going to find its way to the shelves. Those cattle will never make it to the beef processing. So for us to have this move doesn't make any sense. I mean, I get it. It's yes, we're going to have some sort of reaction to it, but to take $5-6 off of feeders, $3 or $4 off of fats, it's an overreach at this point.
So right now we're seeing this market kind of set back pretty hard because of bird flu. I mean, are we going to see that? I mean, what is it going to take this market to say kind of, hey, whoa, why are we down so much on something that?
It's cooler heads. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Everybody's gonna have this initial knee-jerk reaction, similar to like what we see after a USDA report when we get exactly what we expect, and then the market goes and just overblows it to the upside or downside. So it's the same thing here. This is not not a situation that we have to be necessarily concerned about. On the beef side of things, the fat cattle, the feeder cattle shouldn't hold these losses for very long. The other thing about this, and this is what I've been concerned about in the cattle market, is we've been so sideways for so long. What was it, like a month and a half or 2 months? And you can only stay sideways for so long before it breaks out. Well, that cattle on feed was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. So all of a sudden we get a bearish report and we start to break. Okay, well, let's get down to the lower end of the range, and then this is what we needed to break out of that range. And all of a sudden it's the floodgates have opened. We may react to this for a little bit longer than we need to. I would have said an hour, but here we are mid-session. I just think that it's too overblown on my thinking, and I'm not bullish on cattle, but on my thinking, I think we get back up into at least the middle of that range. We'll get some of that back.
So when you're talking to producers, with their cattle right now, are you looking at? I mean, a lot of guys are talking about LRP getting stuff placed in for the end of the year. What's your long-term projection for this cattle market?
So the production side of cattle is bullish, and it's been bullish for years now, for 2 years now, and so it will continue to probably find those support levels. So these selling opportunities are really, these selling moves are basically buying opportunities. The problem is that they can crater and go a lot further than we think. We saw that in September when that market came down. I mean, it crashed hard. Lots of money that was flipped over and turned from, wow, we're really killing it on the long side, to these margin calls are getting a little bit dicey. So I think you still have some upside here. I don't know if we're talking $200 fat cattle again or near it, I guess is the best I would put it. But I think what we are looking at is these dips will be met with buying. Everybody knows, it is very well published about the production numbers for cattle and how they're going to stay friendly out into at least December, if not into 2025. So I think for right now, it's, these are probably buying opportunities, but the problem is there another $2?
Right.
Is there another $3? Because this
is what we saw back at the end of last year.
Right.
Exactly.
One contract may not hurt you, but when you're actually talking about overall production, or you're talking about 4,000 head, 10,000 head, all of a sudden that eats into profitability.
Okay. Now we talked a lot about livestock here.
Yep.
Is there anything in the grain that's happening today? We got a big report at the end of the week.
Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of playing the jockey for position thing, I think.
Yeah.
You look at what we did on Friday. We made new highs for the move in corn and beans on Thursday. They kind of slid back off of that, and then beans were down 20 on Friday. They were up 16 yesterday. Today they're down 10. We're playing back and forth. The corn market has just been a slow leak.
Yeah.
Ever since we hit 480 on the December contract last week, we've just slowly but surely leaked away since Thursday. So I think we're just waiting for this report. Everybody knows that we're going to be above 90 million acres in corn. We're going to be 85, 86 on beans. And then there's the wiggle room. Right. Allendale had their number saying 93 and a half roughly, which was not down nearly as much as everybody else.
Yes, not as many acres on the beans at least. Looking at.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be those are the whisper numbers that you can hear about. Oh, well, such and such group was way up here for corn, way down here on beans. But when it all kind of evens out, who knows? The stocks number is really the one that I'm a little bit concerned about. And we can get pencil whipped on that.
Yep.
And that's a tough one because there's certain things that we just don't have the ability to track, and that's that feed and residual category. So I'm still in the bear camp on the grains, but it's hard to explain this because I'm bearish, but I think we're going to go higher. I don't know if I know it's optimism, but I also know that we have no weather premium built into the market.
Yep.
We're going to go to planting, and there's still some dry areas. I know it's North Dakota's dry. I know that Iowa for the big one is still dry, even though there's been some rain here the last 2 days essentially.
Look at that drought monitor, and they're still pretty heavy in the severe category.
Yeah, and so I think if you're talking about some of the problems that Argentina just had, excessive rain. And they're going to come out and dry out a little bit, but then they're going to get some more coming on top of that. Brazil has constantly been, depending on which group you're looking at, but they've constantly been cutting back on the safrinha corn.
Yep.
So at some point, does the USDA recognize it, or do they meet in the middle somewhere? And then we talk about dryness, but La Nina is starting to become a bigger and bigger conversation as we go into the late spring and early part of the summer. So if that's the case, dryness and heat should bring about some weather premium. That's what I'm looking for. That's not necessarily something to get bullish on. I think that's the action taking thing that you're looking for is where do I get something done? Well, when everybody starts to get bullish is when you need to start playing defense.
Right. Well, Greg, thank you for having us. Thank you for being on with us today. We got, like I said, some big reports coming out at the end of the week here. So if you guys got any questions, you want to talk to a broker, give us a call. We're available anytime. 815-578-6175. Greg, thank you again.
Thank you.
You're good.